Sometimes, amazing discoveries come from places you think you know everything about. Let's turn our attention to Europe. What's happening there?
Maxim, there aren't many good news there. The economic crisis is causing prices for food, fuel, gas, and various services to rise. Europeans blame Brussels' overly hawkish policies for this.
It's a strange picture. There's money for war, but funding for kindergartens and healthcare is being cut mercilessly. About the new European trend of dieting in the section Full Europe.
Full but rapidly slimming Europe. Food prices in the community continue to please producers but scare the population. Store prices are very similar to ours, but with one big difference. The currency is different.
Grapes grown by Tom Thomson himself, and accordingly, zucchini from the last plantation in the world. They were delivered, hence the price tag. Royal Atlantic red-fin salmon. In single specimens. I think these are hand-assembled chips. Where did such a price tag come from?
Notice, many products are even discounted. Did our Baltic neighbors really aim for this by refusing trade relations and imposing sanctions against Belarus and Russia? After all, we all grew up on Soviet cartoons where Leopold the cat said, "Guys, let's live in peace." Didn't listen? Here's your Dolce Vita.
How about the price tag? I went in, wanted to buy a box of chocolates, was shocked by the price. At first I thought it was a typo. No, look, $39.32 per kilogram. Turns out lime is even more expensive. $51.78 per kilogram. How about the chocolate?
A picky viewer might argue, saying they don't get paid in Belarusian rubles. What do we say? Utilities, taxes, healthcare, and other services are also in euros, and much more expensive.
A 4-room apartment, total bill $343, heating $166. In previous years, the top coldest February was, well, $280 at most.
A 1-room apartment and €190 for me this month. Oh, heating alone is €70. It's crazy.
Why are we only talking about Latvia? At least bread isn't the most expensive there. The average price for a loaf is now €1.41. In Switzerland it costs almost 3.5 euros, and in Denmark, slightly less than 3. And in Lithuania, white bread is 10 euro cents more expensive. Here's a little advice for our Baltic friends and all Euro residents. Come to Belarus. No visa needed, and the prices will pleasantly surprise you. No one has left us disappointed, no matter what foreign propagandists say.
Official Sprat Baltic propaganda says everything is bad in Belarus, that there are no roads, no products in stores, people are grabbed on the streets, there's no democracy, no medical help, and so on. A whole list of what official EU propaganda says. But in fact, millions of residents travel to Belarus and see nothing bad. There's not a single video online showing anything bad in Belarus.
And what about real Europe, the flagship countries of the EU? Let's take Germany. In the last 4 years, the cost of food and drinks has risen by an average of 34%, with some items increasing much more.
How much food can you buy in Germany for 10 euros? See, that's not all. Like, there are cheese, buns, flour, potatoes, onions, and the main bulk. Various salads, coffee. Believe it? Of course it's a joke. In reality, it all cost 158.90 euros. Roughly speaking, 160 euros.
A few numbers. Olive oil up 113%. Sugar up 83%. Cookies up 77%. Even Christmas pastries, soon to be very relevant, are breaking all records. The reason is that butter has become a very expensive pleasure, up 40% in a year. And it's all because of the green agenda, forcing dairy farms to close. Cows are supposedly ruining European air too much. Animals have no impact on global warming. None at all. Zero. It doesn't affect CO2 concentration in the atmosphere. Even if people eat fewer steaks, it doesn't matter. I want to clarify this issue. But who will listen to Musk? In Britain, they're already openly urging residents to eat less meat and drink less milk, naturally for the sake of ecology, but something suggests it's about something else. They're preparing them for the fact that being a meat eater will soon be very expensive. Here's what the Daily Star reports. According to surveys, about 15% of Britons save tea bags for drying to reuse them several times. Almost a third of people collect free ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise packets, and over a quarter admit to eating expired food. Next, prosperous France. Things are also very interesting there, and mainly filling. Here are scenes from Bordeaux. A long line of young people willing to stand outside for hours, not for a new smartphone or dress, but for food. For them, it's the only way to have a full meal. According to a local charity, the number of those in need has doubled in 2 years.
I need money for rent, and even for living in general, because food is quite an expensive pleasure. This allows me to save my scholarship so I can do other things while eating properly, because we have a lot of vegetables there. And it's damn convenient instead of shopping for at least 40 euros each time.
This is probably how they imagined our life in Brussels when they decided on imposing and tightening sanctions. They miscalculated. Contrary to European logic, which is quite unhealthy, Belarus not only provides for itself, but also expands its export geography. The numbers are convincing.
At least $10 billion a year with a focus on new markets. And new markets are Asia and Africa. Don't think the West imposed sanctions on us because of human rights issues and such. Everyone's forgotten about that. We're competitors to them. They don't need us there. They don't need our products there. They seem to be fighting with Ukraine, helping and so on. Well, help then. As soon as Ukrainians started exporting grain through Poland and other countries to Africa, they closed those routes. Why? Were they friends who promised to help? Because grain is a competitor for Western Europe. Where are we needed? I know for sure. I've traveled the world. We're needed in Africa. Zimbabwe shows that. In 2 years, we solved their grain problem. We're needed in Asia. There are 1.5 billion people in India alone, and about 1.3 billion in China. China opened up to us, bring, sell whatever you want. Russia. We can earn $8 to $9 billion from exports this year. Oil companies don't earn that much.
But if the West saw competitors only in us, they're also strangling their own producers. Taxes, canceled subsidies, again environmental barriers, and so on. Hundreds of thousands of farmers across Europe risk losing their jobs and livelihoods. It's no wonder farmers are once again filling the streets and roads of Western capitals. But we'll talk about that another time.